A very good evening. I hope that you had a fabulous day. My name is Zain Jamo and you're watching the main news. Good evening, Joyce.
Good evening to you, Zain, and good evening to our viewers. I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge our viewers watching us from our Facebook platform. Do let us know where you are watching us from in our comments section. And for those of you on WhatsApp, we have something special for you.
Definitely, we are super excited. It's for all the WhatsApp fanatics like myself out there. We now have a very new platform that is ZBC News Online on WhatsApp. Just walk us through it.
Yes, you just go to the updates and search for ZBC News Online. For now, we take a look at our leading stories tonight. President Emmerson Mnangagwa reaffirms the country's commitment towards universal health coverage.
He was speaking at the International Conference on Population and Development.
In business, African economies bemoan illicit financial flows.
And in sport, Mighty Warriors beat Namibia 2-0 to move a step closer to COSAFA Women's Championship semi-finals.
And those are our leading stories. We also want to acknowledge Noble Maungwa on sign language. And of course, later on, we'll be joined by Arthur Evans from our Montrose studios in Bulawayo.
And of course, Jeffrey Murimbechi will come through and he will walk us through the world of sport.
And I'll give you the news in detail. President Emmerson Mnangagwa has reaffirmed the country's commitment towards ensuring universal health coverage and improving sexual reproductive health in line with the country's constitution and sustainable development goals.
He was speaking at the official opening of the 20th edition of the International Interministerial Conference on South-South and Triangular Cooperation in Population and Development in Victoria Falls this Monday.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa highlighted the country's progress in fulfilling the objectives of the International Conference on Population and Development.
I'm pleased to highlight that over the years, the government of Zimbabwe has made significant strides in implementing the goals of the International Conference on Population and Development. To date, the total population of Zimbabwe has doubled from 7.6 million in 1982 to 15 million in 2022. This increase in the population growth rate is attributable to an overly improved quality of life of our people. Additionally, the decline in HIV and AIDS-related mortality rates owing to the increased availability of antiretroviral treatment, as well as reduced mother-to-child HIV transmission, has had positive impacts on our population. Zimbabwe's natural maternal mortality ratio is on a decreasing trend.
President Mnangagwa also noted the positive impact of increasing the number of medical training schools and decentralization of specialist services.
My government has increased the number of fully fledged medical schools for the training of doctors and the specialized health personnel towards increased patient-to-doctor ratio, as well as availing specialized health care to grassroots communities. Ladies and gentlemen, Zimbabwe remains committed to universal health coverage. Remarkable progress has been made towards improving availability and accessibility of reproductive, maternal, newborn child and adolescent health services at all levels of our society.
The two-day international conference, which ends this Tuesday, brings together cabinet ministers, experts, and representatives of development partners from across the globe to find common ground on priority actions to attain health-related sustainable development goals. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
Member states are attending the 20th International Interministerial Conference on South-to-South and Triangular Cooperation in Population and Development concur that significant progress has been made in sexual reproductive health and rights despite pandemics which continue to affect the globe.
Delegates attending the two-day Population and Development Conference are taking stock of progress on commitments made at the International Conference on Population and Development (ICPD) held in Cairo, Egypt in 1994. There was consensus this Monday on how pandemics such as COVID-19, civil wars and attrition of health personnel threaten to reverse gains made in promoting sexual reproductive health.
I am honored to testify that Zimbabwe has benefited tremendously from South-to-South cooperation. In 2022-23, Zimbabwe replicated lessons learned from the Ghana Adolescents Sexual and Reproductive Health Project. The program trained school health clubs and service providers on the provision of comprehensive sexual reproductive health services, and this helped to increase the uptake of sexual and reproductive health services.
The Gambia acknowledges the significant progress that has been made in advancing the ICPD agenda over the past 3 decades. It is heartening to see how our commitment to the ICPD agenda has led to substantial improvements in access to education, healthcare and economic opportunities, especially for marginalized populations.
Regional Director of UNFPA East and Southern Africa, Ms. Lydia Zigomo, implored member states to come up with solutions threatening reproductive health gains.
The challenges noted so far include the impact of COVID-19, which you've heard a lot about over the past 2 days, and other humanitarian crises, in particular the Russia-Ukraine war that has shifted the donor landscape, and mega trends including climate change and insecurity, including recent events over the last few days, mostly in parts of Africa and the Arab region.
At the last ICPD 25 held in Nairobi, Kenya, member states made national commitments in several areas which include universal access to sexual and reproductive health. There is also focus on financial resources to finish the ICPD program of action and demographic diversity to drive economic growth and achieve sustainable development goals. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa will next month attend the Saudi Arabia Africa Summit, which will provide another opportunity for Zimbabwe to engage the international community. This was revealed by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Ambassador Frederick Shawa, after a Saudi Arabia special envoy paid a courtesy call on President Mnangagwa at State House in Harare this Monday.
The Saudi Arabia Africa Summit is slated for next month with expanding cooperation high on the agenda. A special envoy from Saudi Arabia, His Excellency Adel Ahmed, is in Zimbabwe to extend an invitation for President Mnangagwa to attend the summit.
We discussed the bilateral relationship between the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Zimbabwe, and we discussed ways of further broadening and deepening it in all areas. We look forward to receiving the President when he comes to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to attend the Saudi Africa Summit as well as the Arab Africa Summit in the month of November.
Saudi Arabia is also looking for support across the globe for its bid to host the 2030 Riyadh Expo and the 2034 FIFA World Cup.
They also expressed our thanks and appreciation to His Excellency the President for his country's support of Saudi Arabia hosting the Expo 2030 in Riyadh, as well as for his support for the Kingdom's hosting of the World Cup in 2034 in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Ambassador Frederick Shawa, confirmed President Mnangagwa has accepted the invitation to attend the summit and support for Expo 2030 and 2034 FIFA World Cup.
Sometime in November, there will be an AU Saudi Arabia summit, and His Excellency the President is going to attend this summit, and it will be another opportunity for the President to engage with the Prince of Saudi Arabia.
Zimbabwe is adopted an open door policy anchored on the principle of being a friend to all and enemy to none. Bruce Chawanda, CBC News, Harare.
The Chief Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Dr. Martin Rushwaya, has spelled out his vision after his recent appointment to one of the most influential positions in government. Dr. Rushwaya spoke to our Chief Correspondent, Ruben Barwe.
On the 26th of September, the President of the Republic, Comrade Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, appointed Dr. Martin Rushwaya as the new Chief Secretary to the President and Cabinet. This follows the retirement of Dr. Mishak Sibanda, who had been at the helm for some years. We managed to catch up with Dr. Martin Rushwaya to walk us through who Martin Rushwaya is.
I was born in Gutu Mashingo province and did my primary in the Midlands at Konmara Primary School. Did my Form 1 at Highfield 1 Secondary School. Then left for Form 2, Makumbi High School. They call it visitation. I did my O-level there. Then went to Fletcher High School for my A-level. From Fletcher, I went to University of Zimbabwe in 1982 and finished in 1984. Then joined government in 1985. Started as an admin officer.
You read political science?
Yes, political science and administration.
Pollard,
yes. Then I started as an admin officer, was promoted senior admin officer, then assistant DA, district administrator for Guero in the Ministry of Local Government. Became DA for Guero, was transferred to Kwekwe, again as district administrator. Left to Kwekwe, transferred to Mvuma, again as district administrator. Then was promoted to
Mjiti.
Yes, Mjiti. Then I was promoted to provincial administrator for Midlands. I was there until 2004, when I was seconded to the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, when ZEC was created as Deputy Chief Elections Officer under the late Mr. Sekaramai. After the elections for 2005, I was then promoted to Principal Director, which is a non-accounting permanent secretary, here in the Office of the President. Until 2009, I was then moved to Ministry of Defense, as Secretary for Defense. I stayed there for 10 years as Secretary for Defense. Then in 2019, I was promoted to Deputy Chief Secretary, responsible for administration, finance, and human resources, and until my last elevation.
Now at the helm of the government administration, of the administration of the Republic, coordinating all the 26 ministries. What is the work of a Chief Secretary to the President and Cabinet?
We talk of coordination of government activities for ministries, government agencies. We have Vision 2030, which must be achieved. The Chief Secretary is the senior civil servant, must make sure that people in government, people in parastatals implement government projects and programs so that we'll be able to achieve the President's vision for Vision 2030. Even earlier than 2030, it will be good.
Sometimes some people out there might, is he a family man? Does he also laugh? Does he also go to church like some of us?
Married, have 2 children. One is in Australia, in Sydney, the other one in Brisbane, all in Australia.
They are working.
They are working, yes. I go to the Reformed Church of Zimbabwe. Madachi, yes.
What made you to remain in government when everybody was jumping the ship and saying, I'm going abroad, I'm going into greener pastures and things like that?
Hard, honest work. That pays. That pays. I had friends who, after 2 years, 3 years, left government and said, no, there's no money in government, what. But I said to myself, government is my home. That's why I'm still in government up to today.
Increased investments in Manicaland under the Second Republic have set the province on a firm pedestal for accelerated economic growth.
Despite the negative impact of the illegal sanctions imposed on the country by the West at the turn of the millennium, which saw many companies closing shop, the Second Republic has ushered in economic recovery and industrialization. In Manicaland, several new companies have been established in the last 5 years, with Willerton, Zimbabwe investing $40 million United States dollars, while Max Mind Investments established a lithium processing plant to the tune of $130 million United States dollars. La Rochelle Organics invested $3 million United States dollars in a new herbal processing plant at a time when Verify Engineering has established plants to produce oxygen and acetylene. Another Manicaland-based firm, Mega Market, has invested $25 million United States dollars on a maize and flour manufacturing factory. Locals employed at the new plant spoke glowingly on how their lives have been transformed.
Vazhinji takawana mabasa. Ma-products edu aya aiwanza kuwanika outside the country. Zvino akuwanikawo local. Saka zvinotibatsira kuti akuwanawo ma-products akachipa.
Tinoshuvirawo kuti semuZimbabwe mukaitawo ma-companies akati one day akaita this company Mega Market, vanhu vakawanda vanowana mabasa.
The company spoke on the new investment and its impact on local and national development.
We employ currently a total headcount of about 650 employees. This is company-wide. And the milling business has also created additional employment. Within that 650, we're talking about 120 employees employed in the milling business, 100 employees in the flour mill, this mill too, where we are. And we have about 20 employees working in our maize mill as well.
Our production capacity, right on wheat mills, is 300 tons of wheat per day. But it's approximately 240 tons of flour being produced per day. The other 60 tons is bran or animal feed. Animal feed, we can't keep up. There's a very high demand for animal feed, and I must commend the Zimbabwean farmers for the quality they do produce.
Meanwhile, Willerton is expanding its operations through setting up a new margarine manufacturing plant with a value of $5 million United States dollars. Other key investments in Manicaland include SCADA's $20 million United States dollars towards establishment of avocado and macadamia plantations and a processing factory. Doroa Minerals has so far injected $3 million United States dollars for the resuscitation of a phosphate processing plant and establishment of a magnetite manufacturing plant. Kenya's Chifushe, ZBC News, Mutare.
A government has appointed a 19-member technical committee to manage the city of Harare's water affairs as part of efforts to improve the availability of the precious liquid in the capital.
Amid a 2-decade-long water crisis in Harare, which has downgraded the standards, the technical committee has an initial 100-day term to assist the city of Harare to resolve its water challenges.
We wish to advise the public and everyone that in terms of Section 6 of the Water Act, Chapter 2024, the government has appointed a technical team to assist the city of Harare to resolve water challenges currently bedeviling the capital. The President, His Excellency Dr. Idi Mnangagwa, directed that we put in place 3 immediate measures. The first was to purchase 1 month worth of chemicals, treatment chemicals for water for the city of Harare. The Ministry of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion will be working very closely with the technical team to ensure that that money is availed so that we can get production at these treatment works from the current 303 megalitres a day to 520 megalitres a day.
Government's move is aimed at increasing and maintaining water production to around 520 megalitres per day.
Having looked at the challenges that the Harare city is facing, and the conveyancing, planning, investments, resourcing, ring fencing of resources for continued purchase of water chemicals, we felt it prudent to appoint a technical committee of competent Zimbabweans from a variety of institutions to be able to complement this effort. I think it's something that the city of Harare will welcome as they get additional ideas about how to resolve this challenge in a more sustainable manner.
This comes a week after Cabinet approved the gazetting of a statutory instrument to take over Harare's waste management after years of neglect by the opposition-led local authority. Experts are of the view that government interventions have exposed the opposition's glaring inability to efficiently run local authorities. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
The 10th Parliament Induction Symposium is underway in Harare as part of efforts to equip legislators with the necessary knowledge before they assume their duties in the august House.
They are aware of the task at hand, hence they believe the induction symposium, which kicked off this Monday, will address some of their concerns for effective execution of duties.
When we meet in the House, our agendas become national agendas beyond our partisan agendas as political players who are coming from particular political parties. Now, people need to demystify the politics of it by making sure that they're coming in to understand that they have a national objective where it is actually possible that the opposing political parties within the House can actually agree on a national issue.
Like how we proceed in parliament. Unobvunza sei mvunzo wako, wauda kutaura nezvawo kana kuti nyaya yako unoipinza sei. Saka izvozvo zvakatikoshera. Basa guru redu nderekuti tinofanira kunge tichigadzira mutemo tichitora zvichemo zviri kumusha kwatakavhoterwa tichiuya nazvo kuparliament.
The most important part is this part. Standing Rules and Orders Constitution. It's the most important document. You have to read it. If you don't read them, you're going to be lost. And then I think that it would be really good if some of those things, like the role of the Member of Parliament, were condensed into a WhatsAppable thing for constituencies, for information.
The good thing about it is it helps someone prepares an MP to know about the roles which they are supposed to partake when they get into Parliament.
Speaker of the National Assembly, Advocate Jacob Mudenda, highlighted the need for legislators to diligently uphold constitutionalism.
Parliament is encouraged to be an institution of peace building, hope, national development, and the entrenchment of constitutionalism and the deepening democratic practices in our country.
The first session of the 10th Parliament of Zimbabwe was officially opened by President Emmerson Mnangagwa on the 3rd of this month. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Harare.
A government values foreign media houses based in Zimbabwe, noting that they are critical in the country's quest to tell the true Zimbabwean story as part of the nation-building drive.
The Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Dr. Jennifer Muswere, engaged journalists from foreign media houses in Harare this Monday with the need to inform the citizenry on gains and developments under the Second Republic taking center stage.
What is of interest to the government of Zimbabwe is that foreign media houses should be able to tell the correct Zimbabwean story. That is our interest. And you also have got a responsibility in terms of ensuring that you also in a position to have credibility and accuracy in terms of reporting. Because the image of Zimbabwe is also of particular and important interest to us as Zimbabweans and as a government.
Dr. Muswere also revealed that the government's open door policy extends to foreign media houses.
Foreign media houses have a role to play in terms of our engagement and re-engagement strategy. Foreign media houses also have a role to inform the foreign media houses where perhaps you report to. But it is also important that the focus should be about Zimbabwe as a country, that the importance of the Zimbabwean brand be well taken care of.
Meanwhile, foreign media journalists were advised to make the necessary arrangements to cover the ZANU-PF Annual National People's Conference set for Gweru from the 27th to the 28th of this month. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
The First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa's cookout program has placed Zimbabwe's traditional cuisine on the global map.
Zimbabwe's traditional food stole the limelight at the Culinary Plaza held during the 8th UNWTO Forum on Gastronomy in San Sebastian, Spain. The event showcased culinary delicacies from various destinations including Zimbabwe, Botswana, Porto and Saudi Arabia. Prepared and served by participants and winners of Amai's traditional cookout competition who accompanied First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa to the high-level gastronomy forum, the mouth-watering dishes offered a variety of unique taste experiences. Delegates, visitors from all over the world and local citizens got up close and personal with Zimbabwe's authentic gapura mai, a combination of organic beef and kariba bream served with a variety of starches including rupiza, manuch and round nuts. Attendees also enjoyed nopi, biltong and dried vegetables washed down with mapura wine, mayeu and baobab juice. The preferred desserts include hodzeko cheesecake and baobab mousse. Traditional grains including sorghum, millet and rapoko, which the mother of the nation is promoting, also attracted the attention of many. In the same vein, the national dress which the First Lady designed fascinated fashion enthusiasts. Guests from Saudi Arabia, Chile, Spain, Romania, among others, professed their love for the taste of Zimbabwean food.
It's an amazing stall and really nice to discover the taste of Zimbabwe, or like the chef said, cooking with Amai, with my mother. It's very nice. I look forward to trying the baba powder. We call it habhabo, because in Saudi we eat it raw. We never cook it. So I'm interested to see how you cook it. We are connected all over the world. And it's amazing sometimes how a simple ingredient connects Zimbabwe to Saudi Arabia together. It's very nice.
It's not strong, it's very aromatic, no bitter, yeah, similar, and little sweet. In the end, little sweet. It's very, no sé, delicious. I'm from Chile. It's the wine country, very wine. It's the craft, similar to craft wine.
I've already tasted the little tiny fishes, matimba, and I like it so much. It's very salty, and I like it too. I think it's a nice snack. And we've already, my friend, tasted the cake made of peanut butter, I think, and I think he liked it too, very much. By the food, you can learn very much about different cultures. I think there's a very nice reason for traveling around the world, for tasting and for also learning cooking that kind of food then on your own country, and that way you can remember the time you've spent there in that country for holiday, for example.
I enjoy a lot the food, especially the meat. It's very traditional and very tasty, and it reminds me also about the flavors of my town. This is the most beautiful meat that I tasted. Beef, very tender, very delicious. Yeah, I tasted twice, and what I like a lot is the rupiza, because it is beans, and we love beans as well here in San Sebastian.
My friends, we're an international group and we've tasted every cuisine in the event, and our favorite is by far Zimbabwe. And I came to you to thank you for this experience. Well, we really like this rupiza with the nuts that we had under the meat and the fish. It was wonderful, very delicate, and also the fish was wonderful and the meat was, just everything was exquisite, the whole journey.
Mrs. Priscilla Charumbira and Mrs. Naomi Chimanikire were part of the chef's team, thanked the First Lady for working with chief spouses in an effort to promote the country's traditional foods.
We are showcasing our food as a result of the cookout competitions that were started by the First Lady. The First Lady gave us traditional grains. We didn't know at the time her vision towards the cookout. So she started by empowering us to grow the grains, and then we are now into cooking the same grains. A lot of people are coming to our stand. They want to see the grains that we grow in Zimbabwe, because here the food is now mainly genetically modified, but our food is natural.
Nasi tiri kufara kubudikidza nemabasa amai vedu nekuti hakuna akambofungira kana kutorota nerimwe zuva kuti ndichakwirawo ndege ndigozonziwo nhasi ndasvika kuno kuSpain. Toda kungovatenda. Takapinda zvechokwadi mumakwikwi ekubika ekubvira 2019 anove ndiwo aya makwikwi atisvidza nhasi uno kuUnited Nations World Tourism Organization. Tabika manhuchu edu echikaranga chedu anotswiwa, tobva tabika, tobva taisa dovi, tikabika rupiza rwedu rwatinokanga nyemba, tobva tadzikuya, tapedza tobva tadzibika, todzisika, todziisa dovi, ndokubva tabika muriwo wedu wechivanhu, fishi yedu yebrim yekumusha, ndokunyatsoita zvakanaka chimukuyu chedu, chimwe tikaisa dovi, nhopi, zvese tabika. Nhasi muno madyiwa, vanhu vese vari kubva pano vari kuti ichi chikafu chinonaka, nekuti chikafu chedu takadzidziswa namai kuti chikafu chedu chinorimwa chakaita sei, chinonaka, chinokudza mhuri, chinopa utano kumhuri. Saka toda kuvatenda amai vedu.
Winners of Amai's traditional cookout competition expressed gratitude for the life-changing opportunity.
Ndakapinda makwekwe eAmai's cookout competition. I am now an employer. I employ 25 people. Ndaigozivei kuti kubika mbora iya kubika nhopi dziya kuchati ndisvika muSpain kubva mugoromonzi zvinhu zvisati zvamboitika muZimbabwe, asi nekuburikidza kwaamai vedu nhasi tiri kushowcase our traditional food muSpain. Tinovatenda amai vedu.
Amai has brought us a long way with this program, which I am very grateful and thankful for. I thought this program was just going to help me to live a healthy way and be able to produce and prepare food traditionally and learn more. But this program has taught me a lot. I have become very innovative and creative. I have also been able to feed my children a healthy way. I am also learning to be able to be productive and produce things which I would like to bring up to the market through this program that has been brought up by Amai. Wow, Spain, here we come. UNWTO. Who would have thought that we would come to this place through the program introduced by Amai? Amai, we love you. We thank you very much.
The event also offered a platform for Zimbabwe to market the country's tourist attractions to the world. Festus Mukunguruse, ZBC News, Spain.
Well, I'm a very proud Zimbabwean because of our food, which is not only just tasty, but it is also nutritious. Some are also going for seconds there, Zain.
Well, I guess they are food lovers just like myself, eh?
Yes, they are. And tell us, what is your favorite traditional cuisine? Tell us if you're watching us from our Facebook platform. Remember, these and more stories are available on our website at www.zbcnews.co.zw.
Or you could get in touch with us on our social media platforms, that is on Facebook as well as Twitter, or on our new WhatsApp platform, that is ZBC News Online. That is our channel.
Indeed, it is our channel, and you can go on updates and search for ZBC News Online. Still to come in this bulletin. In business, African economies bemoan illicit financial flows.
And in sport, Mighty Warriors beat Namibia 2-0 to move a step closer to COSAFA Women's Championship semi-finals.
The main news takes a break. We'll be back shortly with more news after this. Stay with us.
The government of the Republic of Zimbabwe will host the 20th International Interministerial Conference on South-to-South and Triangular Cooperation in Population and Development at Elephant Hills Resort in Victoria Falls from 9 to 10 October 2023. The conference is held in conjunction with partners in population and development, the United Nations Population Fund, and other local partners. The platform will enable ministers, high-level officials, subject experts, representatives from development partners, and youth leaders to discuss and agree on the priority actions to be taken to attain the unfinished agenda of the International Conference on Population and Development. ICPD set the standard for people-centered development, prioritizing human rights, including reproductive rights, empowering young women, men, boys, and girls, addressing inequalities as well as the needs, aspirations, and rights of individual women and men. The conference aims to deliver on the vision of the ICPD agenda and the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs.
1,500 movies? I don't want this flight to end.
Important notice from the Ministry of Health and Childcare. The fourth round of polio vaccination for all children under 5 years of age in Zimbabwe starts on Tuesday 10 October to Friday 13 October 2023. Ministry of Health and Childcare teams will visit homes to vaccinate and protect all children. Vaccination will also take place in all health centers, markets, churches, bus stations, and other public places during these days. The nationwide polio vaccination campaigns were initiated in 2022 following the detection of poliomyelitis cases in Malawi and Mozambique. Polio is a dangerous disease that can cause paralysis or death of children. Protect your child by having them vaccinated from 10 to 13 October 2023. The child's left finger will be painted to indicate that they have been vaccinated. Let us join hands to keep Zimbabwe polio-free. This message is brought to you in the best interest of children by the Ministry of Health and Childcare, with support from WHO, UNICEF, and other partners.
This is the right choice, Zimbabwe.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. You are still watching the main news. Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Shtayyeh says they have the right to defend themselves against what he termed the worst form of aggression by Israel.
Addressing the weekly cabinet meeting in Ramallah area of the occupied West Bank, Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Shtayyeh said Israel is a state of aggression and occupation, adding that Palestinians have the right to defend themselves. This comes after Israel's army declared this Monday that it had regained control of southern areas near the Gaza Strip on the third day of grueling gun battles to dislodge holdout Hamas fighters, whose surprise attack has been likened to 9/11 by Israel. The military wing of Hamas resistance movement says it has captured a new group of Israeli forces as the large-scale operation continues against the occupying regime. Al-Qassam Brigade spokesperson Abu Ubaida announced the development through a recording released late Sunday. The aggression has caught the attention of the global community, with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov saying creating a Palestinian state is the most reliable solution for peace in Israel, adding that fighting terrorism alone will not ensure security. EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell said Foreign ministers will on Tuesday hold urgent talks on the situation in Israel and Gaza. Operation Al-Qassam Storm, which got underway under the Gaza Strip on Saturday, is the biggest operation launched by Palestinian groups against the occupying entity in years. It has so far led to the death of more than 700 Israeli settlers and troops, with unofficial estimates saying in excess of 700 Israeli soldiers and settlers have gone missing. The reprisal bombing campaign by Israel in Gaza has killed nearly 500 people, according to Palestinian officials.
And now from our Pocketville studios, we switch to the city of Kings, where the Montrose team is on standby.
Thank you so much, Zain. Our first story is all about meeting in the right place, the city of Kings and Queens. The 16th edition of the Sanganai Hlanganani World Tourism Expo, which kicks off on Thursday, has brought excitement among exhibitors in the city of Bulawayo.
Anticipation is building up towards the Sanganai Hlanganani World Tourism Expo, set to run from the 12th to the 14th of this month at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair at ITF grounds in Bulawayo. Local tourism players in the courier sector are excited as the countdown to the expo begins.
We expect to see visitors Sanganai abuye ngobuningi bawo. Sile into eziningi singazi-offer ama-curious.
Isangana izasincedisa ngokuthi izabonisa ubuciko bethu. I-art yethu yesigaba sinalesi eMandebeleni esikwenzayo, maybe le ndlela esigqoka ngayo, isangana izasenza ukuthi sazakale lokuthi abantu babe attracted babuye.
Exhibitors in the aviation industry are aware of how the expo provides a platform to network and market Zimbabwe's open skies policy.
We'll be exhibiting this year at Sanganai's edition. We are partnering with ZTA in promoting the destination Zimbabwe. Access is the backbone of tourism.
The tourism sector is set to receive a massive boost as the expo gives an opportunity to showcase Zimbabwe's culture, cuisine, and the rich landscape.
We are, a nation that's blessed in a lot of tourism aspects, in a lot of our culture to begin with, our food, our tourist attractions. They speak volumes for themselves without even advertising them. But what we need to do right now is just to, spruce them up. Give them a fresh new look.
The exhibition seeks to promote Zimbabwe as an irresistible and hospitable destination for travelers seeking an authentic African experience. Grace Sibanda, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Government is stepping up the fight against malaria, with indoor residual spraying being upscaled in areas prone to the disease, such as Binga district.
With a total of 26 people having succumbed to malaria from January to October this year in Binga district, the government has increased malaria preventative measures.
Imansenya kona mingi tuopu somu zebe priority bazibanta vazo spray mumyunzi yesu imansenya afke inzezyo zendi wamba upea nzezyo.
Malaria I problem njauti tatuli kugwasigwa ikufafaza msamu tuli kujaya malaria inyama mosquito kuti kujanikana kuti abantu bapone.
The district acting medical officer Messi Bongile Ncube disclosed that intensive larviciding and indoor residual spraying will be conducted as a preventative measure.
As of last year, we've unfortunately have had a higher case fatality from malaria. We rose from 7 to 26. 7 in 2022, 26 in 2023 so far. The mosquitoes rather, we're now resistant to the chemical. So we are changing that chemical to DDT, which we'll be using, which is very efficient. We also found out that we had a very efficient vector that emerged called Phenestus gambi. So what we'll be doing this year is we have agreed to say our percentage of the room sprayed should be kept at 95%. 95%, at least 95% of the population should be protected against malaria.
Community health workers in the district are also in a drive to upscale preventative measures against malaria.
As a clinic, we are doing health education to the communities. With 43 trained village health workers, they are trained in malaria case management. So they are the point of call in the community.
Deaths from the mosquito-borne disease are rising for the first time in 3 years, with the new malaria vaccine known as R21 set to be rolled out in African countries in the next few months. Ilanda Moyo, ZBC News, Binga.
Preserving cultural values in the face of moral decadence was topical when Zimbabwe National Defense University students embarked on a study at Chief Marupi's homestead in Gwanda South this weekend.
It is in the afternoon in Samlori area of Gwanda South, where the homestead of Chief Marupi is the traditional court venue for a case of infidelity. While cross-examination is usually the prerogative of the learned lawyers and prosecutors, the situation is totally different at a traditional court where the community takes an active role in asking pertinent questions.
Karikiloda kabona tennis litota anakwa umuthi kumupulela ke apaka yena re ke yena
ne ke gopela re le gotla le mputshitse mosadi ba hore nna le bona o ina le mo re takanang gona na
ngibuza ukuthi yena umnikazi wendoda womfazi ubuza nini lo mfazi wakhe yini.
Mina ngicela ukubuza ubaba ukuthi kungani angazange aqale sihlale phansi sikhulume ngoba bemfuna ukuthi achazele abantu ukuthi inyawo azithole phakathi komuzi ngezingaki.
Nanzelela daba ye musari baba hara ni bona bile bathusana ni sikomba sabona.
Ne to ko papakela ai palela PK mlalo audirele to ko pa ai fa PK to khomuja utelela PK J5 yabo.
The court proceedings caught the attention of the Zimbabwe National Defense University students who were on a study tour to appreciate the Sotho culture.
We need, first of all, to put the maximum effort in educating our young people to observe, to practice their own traditions.
A nation without culture is as good as dead. Therefore, the people within the traditional setup, we should try by all means to preserve the nation's culture.
The general agreement is that traditional leaders have a key role to play in the face of cultural imperialism.
Some are going to end up occupying very strategic positions, and they need to understand the different cultures and the way things are done even in our communities. These are some of the things that people consider as primitive, yet this is the basic, the fabric of our social cohesion. That quite often a wronged person should be compensated.
The Zimbabwe National Defense University Center for Defense and Security Studies students were drawn from Eswatini, Nigeria, Botswana, Zambia, South Africa, Tanzania, Malawi, Namibia, and Zimbabwe. Providence Maranelli, ZBC News, Gwanda.
That's all we have for you from our Montrose News Desk, but we take you to Pocket Hill for more news.
Well, from one king, we switch cities back home to Harare, where another will continue with the news whereby government's decentralization of the justice delivery system is on course after the commissioning of Chikombedzi Magistrates Court in Chiredzi South this Monday.
Chikombedzi Magistrates Court has brought judiciary services to rural communities across the Chiredzi South constituency who used to travel more than 100 kilometers to seek justice at Chiredzi Magistrates Court.
Asi uno tinonzwa kupururuza chako mumwoyo medu waiti kana kune munhu wapara mhosva akabva pano akaenda kuChiredzi asvika kuChiredzi kuya unozodzoka mangwana kana tozodzoka next week mari yekuzodzokesa kubva kuno kuenda kuChiredzi mari waizoishayiwa
kusuka la ya Chiredzi akuikule yaisvike kumhaka ina imangaliwe mara witness atitatsandeka kuya Chiredzi sesi witness tavakona ekuatlisa la.
The transformative development has also been welcomed by traditional leaders who noted the importance of decentralizing legal services.
Asi pane zvataitirwa hurumende yatifunga nekuti yatirangarira yaziva chichemo chedu.
Mungwanyana asingatadza silawana mabhazi asingatalawa ti accommodation munhu ndokare ota zvavevuka kuza votala makumani vadhiwa hi mhaka hikwalaho ko vatsandeka kufika akoti vahetisela vaenda ungavana havalavi kufika akoti.
Chief Magistrate of Zimbabwe, Mrs. Faith Mshure, summed up the significance of decentralizing court processes, saying it is in line with the principle of devolution.
Chikombedzi comes at a time when, as the Judicial Service Commission, we are trying to make sure that
we don't leave anyone behind. We don't leave any place behind. And people are able to access court services. We've been told that when it's raining, people cannot cross a river to go to Chiredzi, and that should not be. With the e-filing center, which is fully equipped, which is here, it means if they are aggrieved by a decision of the Magistrates Court, they can lodge their appeal from here without necessarily having to travel.
The Second Republic's devolution agenda gave birth to several key infrastructure development projects across all sectors, including the judiciary sector. Geima Tambo, ZBC News, Chiredzi.
The fourth round of polio vaccinations gets underway this Tuesday, with hospitals, clinics and mobile units rolling out the mop-up blitz across the country. Memory Chamisa gives us the details.
According to the World Health Organization and United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, Zimbabwe has a robust routine immunization program with 90% coverage for polio vaccination in recent years. The vaccination program, which is targeting children under the age of 5, has also been welcomed by apostolic sector.
Tinokurudzira kuti vana vedu vesangano kuzvirongwa zvese zvinotaurwa nehurumende zvinotarisana nevana zvinotarisana nemadzimai tinovakurudzira kuti ngavaende vanopinda muzvirongwa izvozvo. Ese veJohani Maso wechishanu izvozvo vakaungana apa tange tichitoataurira kuti kubva mangwana ngavamhanye vanobayisa vana vavo.
Isusu tiri vana veJohani Maso wechishanu toda kukurudzira vamwe vane vana kuti vana vedu vabaiwe jekiseni remheta makumbo polio. Vamwe vanoti mapostori haendi kuzvipatara, asi isu kwedu tinokurudzirwa nababa vedu kuti tesei tiende kundobaisa vana.
Minister of Health and Childcare spokesperson Mr. Donald Mjiri highlighted the significance of community engagements during vaccination campaigns.
The Ministry of Health and Childcare will launch the fourth round of nationwide polio vaccination for all children under 5 years of age. The vaccination campaign is taking place from 10 to 13 October 2023 in all health centers across the country. We urge all parents and caregivers of children to bring all children under 5 years to vaccination points during these days.
The polio virus is highly infectious and largely affects children younger than 5 years. The disease, which causes lifelong paralysis, can only be prevented by immunization. Memory Chamisa, ZBC News, Harare.
The main news takes a break. We will return with business.
You have helped build Tel One, a better Tel One and the world around us. A better world where we can live together, learn together, play together, work together, grow together. Our journey together continues today. Now we must focus on making our future even better. A better future for our children. Join us and let us do this together. Tell one, the future is better together.
Important notice from the Ministry of Health and Childcare. The fourth round of polio vaccination for all children under 5 years of age in Zimbabwe starts on Tuesday 10 October to Friday 13 October 2023. Ministry of Health and Childcare teams will visit homes to vaccinate and protect all children. Vaccination will also take place in all health centers, markets, churches, bus stations, and other public places during these days. The nationwide polio vaccination campaigns were initiated in 2022 following the detection of poliomyelitis cases in Malawi and Mozambique. Polio is a dangerous disease that can cause paralysis or death of children. Protect your child by having them vaccinated from 10 to 13 October 2023. The child's left finger will be painted to indicate that they have been vaccinated. Let us join hands to keep Zimbabwe polio-free. This message is brought to you in the best interest of children by the Ministry of Health and Childcare, with support from WHO, UNICEF, and other partners.
This is the right choice, Zimbabwe. This is the right choice, Zimbabwe.
Just close the doors, and you're in a world of your own. Travel is not just about the destination, it's also about how you get there. Fly Emirates. Fly better.
This is the right choice, Zimbabwe.
Welcome back. We jump straight into our business news, where Zimbabwe has joined other African countries in formulating strategies to stamp out illicit financial flows that are robbing nations of millions of dollars in foreign currency annually.
Heads of financial intelligence units of Eastern, Southern, and Central Africa, as well as Yemen, are holding a two-day meeting in Harare to review, assess, and provide solutions to illegal movements of money on a regional and international scale. A senior technical advisor with the European Union AMLCFT project, Mrs. Alam Wanyama, spoke on the importance of engagement.
It is important to combat illicit financial flows that emanate from transnational organized crime in Africa, and the central body that does this, the central body in each and every country that is in charge of anti-money laundering, counter-financing of terrorism, and CPF, is the Financial Intelligence Unit.
Eastern and Southern African Money Laundering Group Executive Director Ms. Fikile Zita says that the increase in cases of money laundering has resulted in African governments being prejudiced of more revenues.
The way forward is to try and strengthen the measures in our countries and try to discourage as much as possible the abuse, firstly, of our financial systems, to limit the levels of corruption, because it's difficult to get rid of corruption completely.
Financial Intelligence Unit FIU of Zimbabwe Director General Mr. Oliver Chiperesa says Zimbabwe will use the meeting to share expertise, exchange ideas, and learn from other regional economies about illicit deals.
This being a global community where no single country can win this fight against money laundering and terrorism financing, Zimbabwe cooperates with all the rest of the countries and different international organizations. So we are particularly pleased to have the EU, the European Union, deciding to host, bringing together 34 heads of financial intelligence units.
The Global Economics Journal defines illicit financial flows as illegal capital flights that normally occur when money is illegally earned, transferred, or spent. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
From business, we head straight to the arts, where hip-hop sensation Saint Flo is the talk of town after his dramatic stage entrance at his album launch in Harare over the weekend. The musician, who has been in rehabilitation after abusing drugs, emerged from a coffin as if to signify he was rising from the dead.
An eerie atmosphere explains Saint Flo's dramatic entrance. 6 pallbearers dressed like Grim Reapers marched on stage carrying a coffin. before the youthful artist burst out of the cascade. The dramatic entrances ignited debate in music circles and social media.
Tingochengetedza vechivanhu checoffing kuti munhu ungopinda munhu akafa hamupindi munhu uri kuzwaba mucoffing.
Isu tikaona chicoffing takutofunga kuti rwatorufu ndochete zvatingataura kwete kuti munhu anga ari mucoffing.
It's just art. Vapana ava type yemusic yavari kuridza inenge ichitorwa from western countries, saka ivo vari kungoita resemblance yezvinhu zvavanoona zvichiitika uko.
Senflow ndotomusapota masvagira aita mari papo zvitoriko.
While the debate rages on, experts believe the act is a good example of artistic expression.
It managed to send a message but also get people talking and create a conversation. And I think given that he's coming from a situation where he was abusing drugs and now he's in this rise and lead, reborn kind of vibe, I think it was relevant to what he was communicating.
Meanwhile, the act is nothing new after Tanzanian star Diamond Platnumz also dropped a death-themed performance at the Wasafi Festival. This year, Ugandan singer Smoky Omtapa shocked the outgoers when he organized a show and turned up for his performance in a cascade. Patience Nyagato, ABC News, Harare.
Wow, talk about creativity, Joyce.
Oh, well, he is very creative. And the message that I got from there is that, drug and substance abuse kills dreams, just like his dream was going down the drain, like literally. So he's just saying, he's rising from the dead. His career is up and running again. Well done, Saint Flo.
Indeed, he's rising and he's leading. We do emphasize on the note that let us come together and say no to drugs. And we are hopeful that people will learn from the experience, Joyce, in the future, that whenever you're struggling from such problems, you could actually go for rehabilitation.
Indeed. Thank you, Zain, for that message and that wisdom that you've just shared there. Our next port of call is Sport with Jeffrey Mrimbechi.
Good evening and welcome to Sports News. My name is Jeffrey Mirimbechi. We start off on a very positive note where Zimbabwe took a giant step towards qualification to the semi-final stages of the COSAFA Women's Championship after beating Namibia 2-0 in the second Group C match at the Donsonville Stadium in South Africa this Monday.
The Mighty Warriors put up a clinical display to beat Namibia 2-0 at Dobsonville Stadium to register their second win at the ongoing COSAFA Women's Championship. Captain Rudone Shamba showed a tactical astuteness in tackling the first goal after some good team build-up in the 18th minute. Vice Captain Nugos Ngove then made sure of the points with a well-executed free kick in the 57th minute. Going into the match, coach Shadrack Mlauzi went for grit instead of flair when he brought in Edeline Tumbami for Tanyara's Wachiwaro in central midfield, while Privilege Mpeti replaced Alice Moyo up front. The changes saw Zimbabwe playing on the front foot, even though they lacked a bit of incision.
We are trying to lay an important foundation for future qualifiers. This is the competitiveness that we want as we move towards different competitions.
The Mighty Warriors have the best defense at the tournament so far, as they are the only team yet to concede a goal. Zimbabwe are on top of Group C with 6 points from 2 matches, followed by Botswana with 4 points. Zimbabwe and Botswana will meet in the group decided on Wednesday. The top team from the group will progress to the semi-finals together with 2 other group winners, while the best placed run-up will complete the semi-finals lineup. When the COSAFA Women's Draw Championship was conducted, Group C was dubbed the Group of Death and lived up to expectations after the results of Match Day 2 in the pool confirmed that. Earlier in the day, Botswana showed no mercy against Lesotho as they put 3 goals past them without a reply. Meanwhile, it is a crunch time on day 7 with the deciding Group B matches opening the day. Zambia and Comoros face off at University of Johannesburg Soweto campus, while Angola face Mozambique in Dobsonville, with the 2 matches kicking off at midday. Group A deciders will follow at 3 p.m. Madagascar clash with Malawi at the University of Johannesburg, while South Africa and Eswatini face off in Dobsonville. Lawrence Tusida, ZBC News, Soweto.
Meanwhile, back home, the Castle Agri Premier Soccer League title race has been blown wide open, thanks in the main to defending champions FC Platinum, who are moving 5 points within our log leaders in Ngezi Platinum Stars with 8 matches to go to end the season.
The Premier Soccer League title race is slowly becoming a T-junction where anything can reach the center from any direction. This comes after rejuvenated FC Platinum piled the pressure on log leaders in Ngezi Platinum after a 1-0 victory over their sister club. The victory saw Norman Mapeza's Chargers moving up to second with 46 points, just 5 points behind Ngezi Platinum with 8 matches to go before the end of the season. Highlanders failed to capitalize and slipped further down to third with 45 points after a disappointing 3-0 loss to Simba Bora. Fellow Giants Dynamos all but surrendered their title charge after a 1-0 defeat by Rentals, which saw Dimbari moving out from the top 4 to 5th, 3 points behind Manika Diamonds, who have 43 points. Meanwhile, the battle for survival is getting intense after most of the teams in the relegation matrix won their respective matches. Fading Giants Caps United moved up to 30 points after winning their first match in 10 outings, but that did not change much as the other teams are fighting to stay afloat like Shisham, Greenfield and Yada also collected maximum points. Caps United are on 30 points, the same tally as the Shisham, Yada and ZPC Kariba, who occupy the last relegation slot. The two army sides, Black Rhinos and Crampon Bullets, anchor the log standings below Triangle, who have lost their way this season. Anna Shemrombedzi, ZBC News, Harare.
And that does it for sports news this evening. I hand you over to the main desk.
Well, thank you, Jeffrey, for the update. And with that sport bulletin, it puts a cap on tonight's bulletin.
Good night.
Just close the doors, and you're in a world of your own. Travel is not just about the destination, it's also about how you get there. Fly Emirates, fly better.
Important notice from the Ministry of Health and Childcare. The 4th round of polio vaccination for all children under 5 years of age in Zimbabwe starts on Tuesday 10 October to Friday 13 October 2023. Ministry of Health and Childcare teams will visit homes to vaccinate and protect all children. Vaccination will also take place in all health centers, markets, churches, bus stations, and other public places during these days. The nationwide polio vaccination campaigns were initiated in 2022 following the detection of poliomyelitis cases in Malawi and Mozambique. Polio is a dangerous disease that can cause paralysis or death of children. Protect your child by having them vaccinated from